97 models, that thing's like $130 or something like that. The older models, it's only like 60. So that was, I did not want to change that. So here we go. Hello, welcome back to Citizen Pew Garage. And today, as you saw in the thumbnail, I want to talk about my check engine lights. So for the first time since I've had this project truck, I have all the check engine light is gone. The airbag light is off. All of the warning and basically, you know, oh, something's wrong lights are gone. The dashboard is clear when I'm driving around. It is freaking awesome. So I want to talk about a little bit what all I had wrong. And, you know, I hooked up an OBD2 tester to find all the errors and stuff like that. Of course, the airbag was a separate issue, which I'll talk about all of these. But when I first hooked up the OBD2 tester, there was a number of errors. There was, camera's going to cut off. Anyhow, of course, there was the oxygen sensor errors, right? Both oxygen sensors were bad. And then there was like 2 or 3 errors on the Evap system, right? Which is what recirculates some of your exhaust back into your engine and stuff like that. And I didn't know where to start with that system. So I went ahead and I bought 2 new oxygen sensors and replaced those to get rid of those 2 error codes or whatever. Yeah, I believe they're referred to as error codes with the OBD2 tester. And that wasn't so easy. I mean, finding the location of the oxygen sensors is pretty easy, but changing them out is a little complicated. And we'll address that here. And then I'll talk about the Evap because that was even crazier. And then then we'll talk about the airbag light. That was even crazier. So anyhow, all right. I'm just rambling on here on what I'm going to talk about when I can just start talking about it. So let's go ahead and look at the oxygen sensor that comes off the manifold here, which is in the engine compartment. So if you never changed out an oxygen sensor on your vehicle, it's not hard. It really isn't hard. As far as, you know, it's just, you know, unscrew the old one, put the new one in, right? That sounds easy enough. But accessing it with standard tools might be a little difficult. They do make special oxygen sensor wrenches you might consider picking up. I did not, though, and I did buy some new wrenches for this, but I'll go over that. Here, let's take a look at it. All right, I was just going to adjust the tripod, or the bipod, the tripod, so that it would look down here, but it's not going to get enough angle. So, as you can see here, on the manifold, right there, that is my oxygen sensor that comes off of the, you know, right out of the engine onto the manifold there. And you can see the cable wraps up and hooks up to right here. So getting a wrench in there on that is just extremely difficult. So I went and bought some offset closed-ended wrenches, and they did the trick. Now I wasn't able to get the connector through the wrench, so on the old one I just cut the cable and slid the wrench on there, and I was able to loosen that and take it off. So when I put the new one on, I didn't want to cut the cable, of course, so I used an open-ended wrench, which was fine because you know, I was tightening it and I didn't need to torque it extremely down. And I was able to get over into this area right here and get it on with an open-ended wrench. But breaking it free, I really needed some torque, and so the closed-in wrench helped out tremendously. All right, so here's what I bought to get it off. So that allowed me to get in there and around the manifold, and I was able to put a cheater bar on there and break it free, because after being on there, this is a 97, so what, 24, 5, 6, 7, 27 years, 28 years, it was on there good. So get a full grip on it, put a cheater bar on it, and bam, I broke it free. Putting it back on, I didn't need it that tight. I just needed it nice and snug, and which just a regular open wrench worked fine for. So, and I also used this for taking off the other one, which is downstream from the catalytic converter. So I'm going to put the GoPro on another tripod, and we're gonna go underneath, and I'm gonna show you that one, and then we'll hit the evap system. All right, we're underneath the truck right now, and it's a little tight for me here, but this is your back oxygen sensor, the one that comes off. Here's your catalytic converter right here. Oxygen sensor, yep, it's on your exhaust manifold, and the muffler is right behind us. So, yep. Anyhow, this one was pretty easy to get off because I had a lot of room to get the wrench down here, well, you know, down this way, and get plenty of leverage. But this cable here, right, this cable runs all the way down, if you can see my hand, right here, yeah, it runs all the way down here, and that's where the connector is. So fishing that through this tight spot and around and through a loop here, and I had to zip tie it over to the connector, was not all of that easy. So, but it was doable, so bam. But yeah, it had like a, what was that, I don't know, almost a 3-foot cable on it. So yeah, but anyhow, I bought both of these in a pack of 2, so made it real easy. Yep, and it was real clear to know which one was which, because one had a really long cable and one didn't. So all right, now we have to go to the back end of the truck on the bottom, and we're going to look at the evap system, and I'm going to show you what I did there. All right, we're down here underneath the back end of the truck. Here's the rear axle right here. Here's your parking brake. And then you have an evap system. So your evap system has a few components on it, but that's all this tubing right here is all part of that. And let me turn up above here. This is your charcoal tank or canister, whatever they call it. And on this thing right here is a valve that controls air through it or something like that. I don't know how it really kind of works, but there's a connector to it up here, and it just regulates or turns on and off flow in and out of this somehow, or bypasses it. I didn't study the whole inner workings of this system. I just looked up the components that go bad. Anyhow, so this piece right here is a sensor that determines if it's working, and you can see there's a hose right here. I'll try to zoom in if I can, but these lines are all in the way. But there's a hose right here that taps off of one of these lines and just dead ends into this sensor here with an electrical connection. And that is the first thing I changed out, and that is, this is the old one right here, and the new one is a little different. On the new one, the hose connects straight into it like this, but on the old one it had a square off, and then the hose would connect here. Well, that was broken. So once I started investigating, I said, well, that broken line right there, that might be why, because the sensor's not sensing anything, it's just open to air. So I changed this out first, and boom, all the problems went away. So I was like, wow, that's awesome. Now I did buy this valve that's up here on the canister. I did buy that, but yeah, I don't apparently need it, so I'm not going to put it on, and I'll save it for later. But the sensor over here and the valve weren't that expensive. I think it was $30 total for both. Now the canister up here, let me turn this back. The canister, that thing for the 96 and 97 models, that thing's like $130 or something like that. The older models, it's only like 60. So that was, I did not want to change that. But looks like just this here, just reconnecting it to a working sensor, yep, solve that problem. All right, we're gonna go to the cab now, and we're gonna talk about the airbag. All right, we're inside the cab here. I'm trying to, hopefully I have enough lighting here without blurring everybody out. So let's see here, let's make sure you can see my steering wheel here. So this isn't the original steering wheel, this is an aftermarket steering wheel, it's a Momo. Anyhow, so what I found with my airbag light is that my clock spring was not working. So the clock spring, if you're not familiar, is a device that has the electronics to allow you to turn the wheel and have your horn and your airbag travel through that turning motion into a wire harness inside the steering column. And this is part of my clock spring right here. So I wasn't getting continuity between this side of the clock spring and the fixed side of the clock spring. And it was because this ribbon cable was disconnected from one side or the other. And that can happen if somebody is toying around with it and rotates this thing around over and over and over again with the steering wheel off, and then they can end up pulling this end out of the other end. Well, I thought I would take it apart and fix it. It turns out it's not a serviceable part. You cannot fix this. It is just, yep, it goes bad, it goes bad. And guess what? They don't make them anymore. So you're out. Yeah, you're just not going to have electronics coming up into your steering wheel. So I figured, since I can't buy one, you can find them used, just so you know, on eBay, but I mean, they go quick. And the 96 and 97 Nissans are different than every version before. I think the 95 was maybe half the year. Half the year of 95 maybe is the same as the 96 and 97s. But I do know too that the 95 Pathfinder clock spring will work in this as well. And but I haven't seen any on eBay. I check every now and then. But this has been doing fine here. But so without that clock spring, right, you have nothing hooked up to that wire harness that comes out, so the light will still be on. So what I did was I looked up what that sensor was looking for, or what that connection was looking for, and it's actually looking for a resistance that tells it that the airbag is still good, right? And so it sends a slight amount of power through it and is expecting some, a feedback based on a certain resistance. So I just bought a resistor of that equivalent resistance and put it in the loop, and boom, I was able to clear the light. That doesn't clear the light. Just making the conditions right for the light doesn't clear it. There's a whole procedure on that, which I'll go through that here in just a second. So anyhow, I wanted to cover this. So because I couldn't use the original, well, I mean, I could still have the original wheel and airbag here, but the airbag wouldn't work and the horn wouldn't work, and it didn't work when I got the truck. So I took the opportunity. I bought a adapter here. Oh, did my camera cut off? Nope. Okay. So I bought, and let me take the camera off here. I bought, yep. Well, we'll get to this side of it. Hopefully the lighting isn't too bad. So I bought this adapter, and then I bought this extension right here, and then of course I bought the Momo wheel. Yep. And I like it. It looks pretty good. I think all in all, I have, like, between the extension, the adapter, and the wheel, I think I have like 80 bucks in this. But yeah, I've been driving with it for a couple months now like this, so it's not bad. It's not bad. I really like it. Yep. And this adapter, and I'll put all these parts and stuff in the description if I can find them still, but they should be on my Amazon history, because I ordered all this on Amazon. Everything I'm talking about in this video. But the nice thing about this adapter is it's flush with the original plastic, with the exception of this little cutout right here. Let's see here. You know, it doesn't quite cover that up, because the original steering wheel, when straight, was flush with the shape of this plastic. But oh well, it is what it is. So let's talk about how to clear, if you ever have to clear either your check engine light or your airbag light. There's a procedure for both. So the check engine lights, if by changing the sensors out and stuff like that, they don't clear on their own, you're going to have an OBD2 tester, which I've done a video on the one I have that I've been using for this, but it plugs into a unique plug right underneath the console here. You plug it in and you go through the steps, and there's one area where you can go and clear the error codes out, and it'll clear them out. Your light will go away, and then if the condition comes back, it comes back. So yeah, but if you got it solved, it doesn't come back. So all right. And then for the airbag's a little different. So with the airbag, you have to, all right, get this, right? You have to put the key in the ignition, all right? Turn it to the accessory position, right? Don't turn it on, just turn it to that mid position where like the stereo works and all that. You turn it to the mid position and you have 7 seconds to push the light knob, which on your door, right? You can see that light behind me going off. That's because I'm pushing the door button. So when you turn the car to the accessory position, the ignition to the accessory position, you have 7 seconds to push that button 5 times. Once you push it 5 times, you'll see your airbag light change, right? I think it goes from solid to flashing or something like that. So that puts it in the learning phase, okay? And I'm trying to remember how long it was in the learning phase. It was in the learning phase for a minute, you know, about a minute, probably 45 seconds to a minute. And then it went out. And I was like, well, is that it? Is that it? And then so I turned the car off. I shut the door. And then I started the car up completely. And the airbag light does come on as part of the initial, you know, car starting up and everything. But then, you know, after, you know, all your lights and your meters kind of just, you know, but when that phase goes away, the airbag light went out and it doesn't come back on. So, yep, that solved that, which was really nice. So now I have, yeah, I have no lights. No lights. I have no air lights on my dash, and that is awesome. Well, all right then, that's my video. So that was everything I had to do to get rid of my air lights. It's funny because you think about it, you know, this video, maybe it'll be 10-15 minutes long or something like that. But it took me a while to figure it all out. Like I said, the oxygen sensors, they were pretty easy. So, you know, that was a code right there that just said, hey, your oxygen sensors are bad. So I put new oxygen sensors on. The Evap system, not so much. And finding what parts work with this older vehicle regarding the Evap system wasn't so easy either, because all this stuff on this Nissan is discontinued, right? So you have to find stuff that works or is equivalent or the replacement, and it's usually not made by name brand companies. You know, a lot of it's off-market brand type stuff, and you won't find them at the normal auto stores. But the good thing about the Nissan and some other, you know, older vehicles like this is they're very popular in other countries. So there's still people manufacturing that stuff. And I'm guessing with the age and all that, any patents and stuff like that are run out. So people, you know, they're not that expensive. I think, like I said, the oxygen sensors, I'll have to look it up. But I mean, I think I got the oxygen sensors, the Evap sensor, and all that. I want to say all together that was under $100. So yeah, but I'll go through my my order history and I'll put them all in the description of this video. So, but I was pretty stoked to not have any air lights on the car or on the truck. So it's pretty nice driving, not wondering, is there another, you know, did another code pop up while I'm driving? So, because you don't know, once your check engine light is on and all that, or your service engine light, it only takes one code to turn it on. And then if multiple codes start forming, you don't know that something else has occurred. You still think it's the, you know, the first thing that turned it on. So, unless you have an OB2 tester and hook it up. So, all right, that's my video. Appreciate you watching. Let me know your thoughts. If you have an older vehicle that you're working on that has a bunch of these weird sensors on it, because, you know, regulations require stuff like this now. You go even older and you won't have a lot of this stuff, but the 90s kind of was the era in which they started creating a lot of regulations on stuff related to fuel efficiency, fuel economy, and safety too. So, yep. All right. Appreciate you watching the video. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. And you can check out my other 2 channels, which I have a firearms channel and I have a gaming channel. And yeah, you can check those out. So anyhow, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good day.